Later in the newscast, we'll be joined by CPA and financial planner Holly Signorelli. She'll talk about the pitfalls and playing it smart. More money means the more potential for problems. Joining us in studio, CPA, financial planner, and author of the book, Do You Know Where Your Money Is? She's Holly Signorelli. Holly, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm having trouble assimilating this downside of a $1.5 billion jackpot. All right, you say here it is. 70% of lottery winners are broke within 5 years.
3 to 5 years, yeah.
And it's pretty easy to track the reasons. We have a graphic. You can identify them specifically, so tell me what they are.
Well, you have the addictions and also the gambling, which is an addiction also. Right. And of course, just the overspending, which is a big problem everywhere. Now,
I'm gonna guess you're talking about smaller jackpots relatively. I don't know how alcohol or drug abuse can put you out of $1 billion. I can see how if you win a $3 million jackpot, you can go through it pretty quickly, right?
Well, probably the most famous story is Jack Whitaker, because he already had 17 million and he won the Powerball. And by the way, you don't get 1.5 billion because, well, if you take it in full and then you got to pay taxes. Right. So in his case, he got 83 or 85, something like that, million also. So he had a lot of money, and he actually started out giving a lot to charity, but within 4 years, he was completely broke and actually was being sued by Caesars for gambling debts.
And was it gambling that did him in?
Yes.
I mean, I don't think it was given to charity did him in. I want to hear that story.
Charity is a wonderful thing. You should give to charity if you win. Right. Definitely.
All right. So Mark Cuban says the best thing to do with your money, if you were to do this, is put it in the bank and just sit on it and let it grow and kind of forget you're a billionaire or whatever the number is. Just let it go.
It's probably not realistic. I don't disagree with it, but the first thing you want to do is actually go to an attorney and set up a trust before you cash in your ticket, because then your stuff will be protected in the trust. And again, before you cash the ticket.
Let's talk about it. I mean, this is fun to talk about. It really is. If you were to win tonight, if there's somebody in our viewing audience that actually wins, and we know nobody in the studio, not even Heather, is going to win tonight, but
she might.
Who knows? What do they do? After they've assimilated, wow, I have this ticket, or I'm in this massive group that has this ticket, you gotta call an attorney. That would be your first event. Don't tell your friends, kind of. What do you think?
Probably not.
And just call an attorney.
Attorney first, and then pay your taxes, because I'm not sure if they take the taxes out or not. I would think that they would be required to.
I think they begin with 25% out,
which isn't even close.
You wouldn't be close. It's 39.6.
Yes, and if you don't pay in and within 75 days, you get a penalty. So you have to find out how much you're going to owe, which is going to be about 42%. You know, we're in Texas, we don't have state tax, and then you pay that, and that's when you go to your financial planner and make sure, okay, let me put some money aside and, you know, have a plan, and then take a little bit of it and have fun and go crazy. But what's happened in the past with Powerball winners and big lottery winners is they just go crazy. They start buying, you know, tons of Ferraris and jets and things, and they're not even thinking about the repairs and maintenance involved in that.
Right.
And forget about the taxes.
Living at that high level costs a lot to maintain. Once you've got all the stuff, it costs a lot. Okay, so again, let's talk basics. I like talking about this because it's fun to think about. Right. So do you like the cash up front? I've heard advantages of both. Cash up front or pay out over the 30-year term?
I always tell clients to do cash up front, or even if it's less, because otherwise for 20 years you're hoping that someone's going to be able to pay you. So we have a great economy here, but let's say if you're in a different state, do you really want to be dependent on somebody being able to pay you over that next 20 years? It's always better to...
You mean the lottery system staying solvent?
Yes, exactly. Right. Well, you never know. There's too many unknowns.
On the positive side of stretching it out, if I win tonight and I take the payout up front, I will, as you mentioned, about 40% taxes, boom.
But you're going to pay that anyway if you take it annually because it's so high.
For the first year, but what if a flat tax comes into effect, right?
That's never going to happen.
Oh, here we go. Holly Signorelli with breaking news. But I mean, there are tax consequences that could change too, but we've never really seen.
But they're about as worse as they could possibly be right now. So it's more likely that they're going to go down.
Okay, temper. You just said. Heather, give the news to Heather. Heather's not going to win.
Heather, you're not going to win.
Sorry. But listen, I'm excited for whoever does. I hope it's me.
Thanks for the advice, Holly. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it.
I can still hope and dream, right?
I can have a dream, can't I?
Don't crush that. Tonight's jackpot, in fact, is the largest ever and financially viable, I guess, according to some articles on the internet.
Yes.
That's right. It is worth that $1.5 billion. So Fox 4's James Rose is at Fuel City in Dallas. Sales nonstop, James.
Right, I mean, it's busy right now, and look over here. If you pan over here to the left, Paul, you can see people have been coming in here all day. Some of the cashiers have actually broken a sweat running back and forth. They think this will set an all-time record for this store alone in the number of sales. In the U.S., let me just say this, across the board, they're saying they're selling roughly $1 million an hour. Here in Texas, they're selling roughly 1,600 tickets every single minute. So, I mean, this keeps on going up. Now, Fuel City will be packed until 9 o'clock. So if you're going to get a ticket, come on out and get a ticket. Now, if you win, here's a breakdown of the $1.5 billion jackpot. The lump sum would be about $900 million. Now, after taxes, it boils down to roughly $540 million. Now, with the odds being 1 in 292 million, few here are even deterred. And as you hear time and time and time again, unless you buy a ticket, you don't even have a chance. A longtime CPA and financial planner says all of the previous Powerball winners, of 70% of them, went broke in 3 to 5 years, primarily because of impulsive and emotional purchases, and those are just some of the typical problems.
Some part of your being will tell you not to buy something. It could be as simple as a pair of shoes or whatever your advice is, but especially with the big numbers, always listen to your body.
Okay, you know, some other tips she gave. The first thing you should do if you buy a ticket is sign the back. Photographer Paul Beam and I went in half on this one, so let's see if that wins. But we're both covered because we signed it. So the next thing you do if you win is you should get a tax attorney, a financial planner, and do all of that before you even go in with the ticket to cash it in. And again, if no one wins tonight's drawing, it will be $2 billion at a minimum from what we're hearing. For now, live at Fuel City, back to you and Heather and Steve.
All right, thanks, James. We're just sitting here shaking our heads going, seriously, $2 billion if nobody wins? But okay.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but then you take the taxes out and all of that, you know, you back down to God knows what.
Yeah, hardly anything.
Million?
Hardly just suffer through
the hundreds of millions.
Thank you, James. Good job.
Struggle.
All right, a few more hours of hope if you're in on the Powerball lottery. Hope for being the next billionaire to hit the jackpot. The jackpot has been figured at a record high for the last couple of drawings. It's now up over $1.5 billion. But along with all those winnings, could be a bigger headache. I don't know about a bigger headache. It would be nice to have this kind of headache, but yes, it could come with some challenges, and James Rose is in with some ways people can handle or mishandle lottery jackpots. James.
Well, you know, it's basically a reality check. You know, you're not going to win $1 billion. I mean, if you take the lump sum, it's $900 million. You know, the good folks here at Fuel City, you know, their motto, by the way, is where dreams come true. And I can tell you, they have had a lot of sales today. It's kind of quiet right now. That's just a lull. Trust me. One guy came in and bought $2,000 worth of Powerball tickets. So, you know, the reality here is be careful what you wish for.
Let me get a lotto.
Powerball, you want 2?
The Powerball jackpot is so big, the billboards can't even keep up.
42. 42?
More than 1,000 Texans a second are taking the 1 in $292 million chance of winning the $1.5 billion jackpot.
Yeah, the odds are crazy, but one thing you know for sure, if you don't buy one, you're not going to win.
That seems to be the conventional wisdom of those lining up to play Powerball. You know, you got a better chance of getting killed crossing the street than you do winning this $1.5 billion, right?
Man, I don't have. But see, you know what? People have won just from a quick pick. It's all in the luck of the draw, man.
And just about everyone knows what they're going to buy.
I'll probably invest a lot of it.
In what?
Stocks, land, yeah, animals, livestock.
I'm gonna buy y'all news studio.
70% go out of business and in a lot of cases have debt within 3 to 5 years.
Longtime CPA, financial planner, and author Holly Signorelli's talking about the percentage of people that have won the Powerball and lost it all.
Having millions can give you some security and some toys, but it really doesn't make you happy, where I think that giving to charitable organizations and sharing with your family and friends that you love is very fulfilling.
Signorelli says jealousy, greed, and instant gratification often dooms most of the millionaires. That 70% statistic didn't deter anyone we talked to.
If I go broke, just go ahead and put me in a jail or something for the rest of my life.
But I won't lose it in 3 to 5 years because I'm going to take the annuity and get paid for 30 years.
Thank you very much. Now, Signorelli says there's a number of things you really need to think about doing before you even bring the ticket into cash. First and foremost is sign the ticket, then hire a tax attorney, then have a trust formulated underneath that tax attorney. And she says, you know, it's a good idea to give. Charity is always a good thing to do. It's also a write-off when you have that kind of money coming in. And, you know, she says the best thing to do is have a financial planner that can teach you how to save as well as spend and try and curb some of those impulsive purchases that so many people tend to make when they have money that they've just gotten for the first time. So a lot to learn here, Steve, even if you win the big bucks.